Simba sat in silence for a moment, absorbing the weight of his confession and the piercing gaze of his father, Bakisa. The gravity of what he'd just revealed hung thick in the air. After a moment, he rose slowly from his seat and lowered himself onto his knees, bowing his head in humility before his parents. Bakisa took a step back, his voice steady but laced with a bitterness that cut deeply. "You've chosen to bring shame upon this family, Simba. I raised you with all the teachings, with pride in our ways. How could you turn away from all of it?" Simba kept his gaze fixed on the floor, speaking softly. "I know I've disappointed you, Baba. But please understand, I've spent my life pretending to be someone I'm not. I've tried to live by the values you taught me, but this is who I am." Nima finally found her voice, and it trembled as she spoke. "Simba, we only wanted happiness for you. We wanted you to have a family, children, a legacy." Simba lifted his eyes to meet his mother's, a sheen of unshed tears reflecting his vulnerability. "Mama, I wanted that too, for so long. I thought I could be what you wanted, but I can't. And it's hurting Naomi, it's hurting me." Simba took a shaky breath, gathering his courage. "Mama, Baba, I'm asking you to accept me, even if it's difficult. I've lived in fear of this moment all my life, but I can't keep lying to you." Bakisa turned away, shaking his head slowly, struggling with the betrayal he felt. "How can we face the village, the community? They'll judge us, they'll judge this family. Did you even think of that?" For a few moments, Bakisa stayed by the window, visibly wrestling with his thoughts. Then, with a resigned sigh, he turned back to face his son. "Simba, I can't pretend to understand this. But, you are my son. I won't turn my back on you, even if it pains me to accept this." A sense of relief washed over Simba, though he knew his father's acceptance was far from whole. He reached out to grasp his father's hand, grateful for even a reluctant blessing. Simba turned to his mother, searching for her response. Nima, with her heart torn, took a step forward and embraced him. "Simba, I don't understand this," she whispered, "but you're my son. You always will be." Simba hugged her tightly, feeling the warmth of her acceptance even amidst the sorrow. He knew it would take time, but her love remained unbroken. After the exchange with his parents, Simba knew it was time to leave. He felt a pull in his heart, urging him toward the river, a place where he could find solace in Thando's company. Arriving at their usual spot, he found Thando waiting, leaning against a tree, his gaze soft and understanding. Simba walked toward Thando, and without a word, Thando reached out, pulling him into an embrace that spoke of comfort, acceptance, and love. They stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, as the world around them grew still. Thando finally broke the silence, his voice soft. "You've told them, haven't you?" Simba nodded, his eyes filled with both relief and lingering sadness. "Yes. I told them everything, and it was as hard as I feared. But with you here, I feel like I made the right choice." They sat beside the river, Simba resting his head on Thando's shoulder as they talked quietly, sharing dreams of a life together. "I'm ready to be with you, Thando," Simba whispered, his voice filled with determination. "I'm done hiding." Thando's eyes sparkled as he looked at Simba, his voice warm with affection. "Then let's face this together, no matter what." They spent the night beside the river, savoring the feeling of freedom and love, knowing they had each other in the journey ahead. When dawn broke, Simba woke from his peaceful sleep beside Thando, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He knew what he had to do next. After saying a tender goodbye, he made his way to Naomi's house, heart heavy yet resolved. Arriving at Naomi's doorstep, Simba paused to gather himself, his hand trembling as he knocked. Naomi answered, her face a mixture of surprise and curiosity. "Simba. Where have you been? Is everything all right?" Simba nodded, though his expression was somber. "Naomi, can we talk? There's something I need to tell you, and I owe it to you to say it in person." They sat together in the living room, the silence between them heavy. Simba took a deep breath, his gaze meeting hers. Naomi, I have to be honest with you. I've been lying to you and myself. I'm gay. Naomi's eyes widened in shock, her hand coming up to cover her mouth. Simba, are you serious? This whole time? Simba's voice shook as he continued. I married you because I wanted to be what everyone expected. I thought I could change, or at least pretend. But I can't live like this anymore, Naomi. It isn't fair to you. Naomi's face crumpled, and tears filled her eyes as she whispered, Why? Why didn't you tell me sooner? Do you have any idea how much this hurts? Simba reached out, wanting to comfort her but hesitating. I know I hurt you, and I'm so sorry. You deserve someone who can love you completely. I couldn't keep pretending. Naomi looked away, her voice trembling. So, all those nights, all those moments, were they all lies? Simba's voice broke. No. I cared for you deeply. I just couldn't love you the way a husband should. Naomi closed her eyes, taking a deep breath to steady herself. So, what now, Simba? You're leaving me for someone else. Her voice was laced with hurt but also an underlying strength. Yes, Simba replied softly, his voice filled with regret but also honesty. His name is Thando. I want to be with him, to finally live openly. I know this is hard for you, and I'm so sorry. Naomi shook her head, a bitter smile on her lips. I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Simba. But I hope you find peace in who you are. It's hard to accept that I've lost my husband. Simba lowered his head, his voice barely a whisper. I understand. I didn't mean for things to end this way. They sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts, the weight of the moment sinking in. Finally, Naomi stood, her voice soft. I think I need some time, Simba. I don't know if I'll ever be okay with this, but I need time to understand it. Simba nodded, his heart aching. I understand. Thank you, for listening, for being here, even when I don't deserve it. Naomi looked back at him one last time before leaving the room. Goodbye, Simba. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. Her words were soft, filled with a bittersweet acceptance. Simba watched her go, feeling the finality of the moment. Their marriage was over, but he felt a sense of relief that she knew the truth. As he left Naomi's home, Simba felt both the weight of loss and the freedom of finally living his truth. He knew there would be challenges ahead, but he was determined to face them, knowing he had been honest with himself and with her. The first rays of sunlight filtered through the small window in Thando's home, casting a warm glow across the room where Simba lay beside Thando, finally at peace. As they shared tea that morning, Simba and Thando discussed their future, recognizing both the joy and difficulties that awaited them. Thando reassured Simba, vowing to stand by him through whatever they would face. The villagers, who had grown accustomed to Simba as a married man, soon began to notice his absence from Naomi's side. Whispers circulated, especially among the elders, as they speculated about his intentions and the nature of his connection to Thando. Braving the growing rumors, Simba and Thando visited the village marketplace together. Their presence drew looks, some curious, others scornful, but they walked side by side, quietly supporting each other. At one point, an elder neighbor approached them, voicing his disappointment in Simba. He reminded Simba of the expectations the village held for him, emphasizing that his actions were not our way. That evening, Thando's mother, Nima, visited their home to offer her support. She spoke with wisdom, encouraging the two to remain strong and to find peace within each other, despite the harsh judgment of others. That night, alone together, Simba felt the weight of the village's judgment. Thando held him close, reminding him that they had chosen to live honestly and that they would face whatever came together. Back at his parents' home, the whispers reached Bakisa and Nima, who had struggled with their son's truth. They listened in silence, absorbing the village's disapproval while grappling with their own feelings. Nima visited Simba and Thando the next day. Though still uneasy, she expressed her willingness to try to understand, choosing her son's happiness over the approval of others. Later that evening, Simba and Thando shared a quiet moment by the river, reflecting on the challenges ahead. They knew they would face more struggles, but they promised each other that their love was worth every hardship. Simba and Thando walked hand in hand through the village, defying the murmurs and lingering stares. Their choice to be together was evident, and although some villagers turned away in disdain, a few offered supportive nods or words of encouragement. One day, Simba's childhood friend, Kabo, approached them. Kabo had always been a loyal friend, and though he didn't fully understand, he expressed his support and told Simba that he would stand by him, regardless of what others said. Thando's mother, Maria, faced questioning from relatives who demanded to know why she had allowed her son to live openly. Maria stood firm, saying that she would always support Thando and Simba because happiness was more valuable than tradition. At the village well, Simba was met with glares and muttered insults from several villagers who had once respected him. He felt the weight of their judgment but lifted his chin, refusing to let their contempt diminish his self-worth. That evening, Simba and Thando sat together under the stars, discussing the challenges they faced and the strength they would need to overcome them. They found solace in each other's words, each vow of love reaffirming their commitment. Thando, sensing Simba's struggles, took him aside one evening, holding his hands firmly as he reassured him, "We're in this together. Whatever we face, I will never let you go." Bakisa, torn between his love for Simba and the weight of societal expectations, sought advice from an elder he respected. The elder encouraged him to let go of his pride and to think of his son's happiness above all. Days later, Bakisa made his way to Simba and Thando's home. Though he didn't say much, his presence was an unspoken sign of his support, a step toward acceptance that meant the world to Simba. With each day, Simba and Thando found strength in one another and in the few villagers who openly supported them. Despite the challenges, they resolved to live honestly and with dignity. Simba and Thando decided to hold a small gathering with those who supported them, a celebration of love and unity that brought a sense of belonging amidst the adversity. For the first time, they felt truly embraced for who they were. Despite moving in together, Simba and Thando quickly realized that life wouldn't be as peaceful as they had hoped. Whispers and side glances followed them whenever they walked through the village, and small groups of villagers muttered behind their backs. The couple braced themselves each time, shoulders squared, refusing to hide. One afternoon, as they purchased vegetables at the market, an elderly woman pulled Simba aside and whispered, "You've brought shame to your family." Her words stung, and for a moment, he struggled to respond. But Thando's comforting hand on his shoulder steadied him. "I know who I am," Simba said firmly, holding Thando's gaze. Returning home, they sat in silence, both troubled by the lingering stares and harsh words. "Is it worth it?" Simba finally asked, a hint of sadness in his voice. Thando took his hands, looking into his eyes with unwavering love. "You are worth it. We are worth it." Over dinner, they talked about their dreams, focusing on the happiness they'd found in each other despite the disapproval around them. Each small moment of laughter, each quiet meal shared, reminded them why they'd chosen this path together. Meanwhile, back at Simba's parents' home, Bakisa and Nima were dealing with their own struggles. They heard the whispers and endured looks of pity and judgment from the villagers, torn between love for their son and the expectations of their community. One evening, Nima visited Simba and Thando, her face lined with worry but softened by love. She embraced her son tightly. "People will talk," she said softly, "but remember, my son, a mother's love never fades." That night, as Simba lay awake, he thought about his family. Thando, sensing his unrest, reached for his hand in the darkness. "They'll come around," Thando whispered. Even if it takes time, they'll see that love is love. Days turned into weeks, and though the backlash continued, Simba and Thando's love remained a quiet rebellion. They held each other close, laughing and sharing their days, savoring the moments when they could simply be themselves. One evening, Bakisa arrived at their home unexpectedly. Simba froze, unsure of his father's intentions. "I wanted to see for myself," Bakisa said gruffly, stepping inside. "Are you happy?" As the evening wore on, Bakisa spoke little, observing his son's new life. Before he left, he patted Simba on the shoulder and said, "I may not understand, but I see that you are at peace. Perhaps that is enough, for now." As the rumors spread, Simba and Thando noticed a colder reception from several shopkeepers and villagers who once greeted them warmly. Some turned away in silence, while others spoke just loud enough for them to hear their judgments. At the well one morning, an elderly man, whom Simba respected, shook his head in disappointment. "This isn't what our ancestors wanted," he muttered. The word stung, but Simba reminded himself that he couldn't please everyone. Meanwhile, Thando's mother, Maria, received a visit from a close friend. "People are talking, Maria," the woman warned, though her voice held sympathy. Maria sighed deeply, torn between her love for her son and the societal expectations pressing down on her. Later that day, Maria visited Simba and Thando, bringing food as a gesture of support. "They don't understand, but that's their burden, not yours," she said gently. "Be true to yourselves." In the midst of these challenges, Simba and Thando found solace in quiet moments together. On a starry night, they shared dreams of a future where they could love openly without fear. One day, Simba whispered, holding Thando close, "The world will catch up to us." At home, Bakisa and Nima were struggling too. A group of villagers approached Bakisa, questioning his values as a father. "How could you allow such shame?" one man spat. Bakisa's face hardened, but he refused to betray his son. In a private conversation, Bakisa told Nima, "I may not agree with his choices, but I'll be damned if anyone disrespects our family." Nima's eyes filled with relief. In that moment, they felt united in their commitment to protect their son. One day, a distant cousin, Kagiso, visited Simba and Thando to offer support. "You two are brave," he said. "People fear what they don't understand. But you've shown more courage than most." Encouraged by Kagiso's words, Simba and Thando began helping others in the community, hoping to show their neighbors that love, regardless of form, could still benefit the village. They offered to teach children, help with farming, and contribute in any way they could. As the day ended, Simba and Thando walked back to their home, hand in hand, stronger than ever. They knew the journey would be long and difficult, but together, they could face anything. "No matter what, we have each other," Thando murmured. Simba smiled, feeling a deep peace in his heart. Simba and Thando awoke to sunlight streaming through the small windows of Thando's cozy hillside house. The soft golden light symbolized a new beginning, reminding them both that they'd survived yet another day of judgment and whispers. They could feel a sense of victory in just being able to face the morning together. As they sat together at breakfast, Simba and Thando spoke in hushed, excited tones about their plans. They discussed the possibility of a life where they could build a small business together, a future filled with love and support for one another, free from the prying eyes of those who didn't understand. To their surprise, some villagers began to subtly offer support. It started with friendly nods from a few young men in the marketplace, then a quiet greeting from an elder who had once shunned them. Slowly, a small network of silent supporters emerged. Simba's mother, Nima, had taken time to understand, but her love for her son eventually overpowered her reservations. One evening, she visited the hillside house with a basket of freshly baked bread, a silent gesture that showed she had finally accepted her son's path. Thando's father, Kali, who had been distant for so long, finally came around after seeing his son's unwavering happiness with Simba. Though he wasn't as expressive as Nima, he offered Thando a heartfelt handshake and a nod of respect that spoke volumes. During a local festival, Simba and Thando were hesitant to attend, but Nima encouraged them. To their surprise, they were met with fewer stares and more smiles. People were beginning to accept them as they were. One evening, as they sat together under the starry sky, Thando took Simba's hand and looked into his eyes, asking him if he would be willing to make their love official in the eyes of those who mattered. It was a quiet proposal, yet deeply meaningful. They began planning their wedding with the help of Nima and Maria. Despite a few lingering doubts from others, they focused on the positive, preparing for a ceremony that would celebrate their love and resilience. To their surprise, many villagers expressed interest in attending. Friends, family, and even some of the people who had once judged them sent their RSVP, curious to witness this unprecedented event. On the eve of the wedding, Simba and Thando shared a quiet evening, reflecting on their journey. Despite the challenges, they felt stronger than ever, filled with gratitude for the love and acceptance they had found. Simba and Thando prepared in separate rooms with their closest friends and family. Nima, with trembling hands, adjusted the collar of Simba's traditional attire, while Maria placed a beaded necklace around Thando's neck with tears in her eyes. Friends, family, and supportive villagers gathered at the top of the low hill where Thando's home was located, creating a makeshift wedding space adorned with vibrant, handmade decorations. Simba and Thando stood together, gazing into each other's eyes as they exchanged heartfelt vows. Their words were filled with promises of love, resilience, and gratitude for the journey that had led them here. After the vows, they embraced, and a cheer erupted from the crowd. Tears flowed freely, not only from Simba and Thando but from their families and friends who had come to see their love for what it truly was. Everyone joined in a traditional dance that symbolized unity and acceptance, circling Simba and Thando. Laughter and music filled the air as they celebrated together. Nima and Kali shared a quiet moment, acknowledging the bond their sons shared. While it wasn't easy for them, they both realized that love was all that mattered. Simba and Thando spent time with friends who had supported them throughout, feeling grateful for the bonds they had built despite the challenges. As the sun began to set, they raised glasses with friends and family, toasting to love, resilience, and the path ahead. It was a moment of unity and hope. Under a sky filled with stars, Simba and Thando shared their first dance as a married couple, moving to the rhythm of a gentle, traditional song. As the night deepened, Simba and Thando looked around at their friends, family, and community who had come together to celebrate them. They knew that there would still be challenges, but with each other, they were ready to face whatever came next. Simba awoke to the soft light streaming through their window, illuminating Thando's peaceful face. He smiled, feeling a profound sense of calm wash over him. This was home now. Hand in hand, Simba and Thando walked through the village, greeting neighbors. Though some villagers still looked away, others offered small nods and friendly greetings, a silent acknowledgement of their bond. An elderly woman, one of the few who had always supported them, waved them over. "You too," she said with a gentle laugh, "are braver than most. The world could use more love like yours." One afternoon, both sets of parents came over for tea. Though there was some awkwardness at first, by the end of the afternoon, laughter and conversation filled the home, bridging any remaining gaps in understanding. Simba and Thando began their first big project together, planting a small garden by their home. As they worked side by side, planting vegetables and flowers, they spoke of their dreams for the future. One evening, a young man from the village who had once shunned them stopped by to apologize. "I was wrong," he admitted, his voice thick with sincerity. "Love is love, and I see that now." The village invited them to a celebration honoring community unity. To their surprise, they were welcomed warmly, people clapping as they arrived. It was a moment that reassured them that their love, once hidden, was now embraced. Simba and Thando celebrated their one-year anniversary with a quiet dinner. Together, they looked back at the journey they'd taken, from hiding their love to now openly celebrating it with those they cared about. As a final gift to each other, they crafted matching wooden bracelets, each bead carved with symbols of their journey together: love, resilience, and unity. They wore these bracelets as symbols of their everlasting bond. Standing atop the hill near their home, Simba and Thando looked over the village, the sun setting before them. They knew they would continue to face challenges, but as long as they had each other, they could overcome anything.